Today on the Nerdy Gritty, with the Game Awards 2020 happening this week, we talk about the nominees.
One more world disappears inside it. Just another hopeless addict. Well, they make some man instead. If the drums don't get you, the guitars will.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I am your gamecaster, shoutcaster of the year, Fox.
And I am your nominee for Best Video Game Podcaster in this room, Des.
No, I'd vote for you.
Oh, thanks.
I'd definitely vote for you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So, hey, you know how when you go to Disneyland, you get that magical feeling of being in a different world and well, what if we could have that feeling with video games, though?
It sounds great.
Yes. Well, Super Nintendo World opens February 4th in Japan.
Super Nintendo World!
They even announced the date of February 4th to me. This is a bold move on their part.
Yeah,
you know
there's an
February
element
4th
of,
is
well,
happening.
2020 is bad, but 2021 is going to be great.
That's going to be fine,
It's going to be great.
By 2021, it'll be fine.
Yeah, once the ball drops in New York, everything's fine.
Then everything gets cleaned up.
The worldwide vaccine will be released from that. Like when the ball drops, it cracks open,
and the vaccine comes
just
out.
spreads. It's like any kind of Amazing
Airborne.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
where it just launches and vaccinates everybody, and then we can go to Super Nintendo World.
We want to talk what rides we want to see. What
what can they add? Well, what experiences at Super Nintendo World should they add when they expand beyond, or maybe even in the Mario realm, but when they start adding more?
What should they have? What lands, what rides, what should they have? So
first I'm thinking, well, they're going to want very popular things right now. I've got one that probably gamers would like, but the general person would not know about.
Right.
But my first one is, okay, I'm thinking like Toontown from, that's Disney World, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Toontown, where it's like this whole, they have all the different areas that have themes, and that's like a kind of a children's
land.
Yeah. I'm thinking Animal Crossing Village type place.
Yeah.
Where you go and you can interact with all the all the big popular cast members. You'd have your Blathers, you'd have your
and then the big
ones that everybody
furry
knows.
suit type things. Those would be perfect.
Your
for
mascots.
That. Yeah.
There's going to be mascots galore at Nintendo World in Japan.
I have my first one that I want to talk about is a whole land, and it's deep space, and it's themed specifically around Star Fox and Metroid.
Okay, sure.
And so the Star Fox ride is going to be your traditional kind of like Star Tours, where it's the screen and the whole thing moves to make it look like. But the Metroid one, this is what I really want, is a sort of laser tag experience, kind of like Buzz Lightyear's.
All right,
one,
sure.
But where you're running around and you have a gun and you are zapping Metroids and other monsters coming along.
Ridley.
And there's Samus there, and she's kind of guiding you along and whatnot. Yeah, man. So what's going on in the world of news there, Fox?
I have two very different news stories, and how we do this podcast is we each talk about two news stories, but I cut out the second two. So if you don't have the director's cut, you'll never actually hear us talk about those two.
That's true.
So this time I'm being very strategic about which one I'm talking about, because one is important and one is not.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, okay.
We didn't talk about which ones.
We did not. I think we'll be okay.
Hopefully we won't overlap. We'll see.
The Lord of the Rings actors and writers are trying to save J.R.
This is my first one. That's not true. It's not. No, I'm making that up.
Trying to save J.R.R. Tolkien's home.
Oh.
So this is the, let me see.
From the Urukai, which are coming.
Yeah,
to
no,
take
you got to
it
watch
over.
out. Yeah, they're going to burn it for the, Project Northmore. This is a endeavor to save, let's see. Unlike, this is just a thing from the website for this. Unlike other writers of his stature, there is no center devoted to Tolkien anywhere in the world. We seek to change that.
I had no idea.
Our vision is to make Tolkien's house not a dry museum, but a homely house of continuing creativity.
Wait. What kind of house?
A homely house.
Doesn't
homely has
mean
a very
ugly?
different term now, but Rivendell is called the last homely house.
Okay.
But yeah,
there are no other ugly houses
changed
after
meanings. Well, it's like the last one before. It's like, before they go out into the more dangerous part of the world.
Right.
Anyway, our vision is to make Tolkien's house not a dry museum, but a homely house full of continuing creativity, inspiring new generations of writers, artists, and filmmakers. The house will also have an engaging online presence to bring into the house's program those who cannot travel to Oxford, but it's a race against time for us to buy it before someone else does. So basically, Tolkien's house in Oxford, or near Oxford, I guess in Oxford, is up for sale, essentially, is what it seems like.
Interesting.
And it's not considered, a important location that's being preserved or anything. So anyway, it's basically a crowdfunding thing that I will absolutely be donating to.
Yeah, no kidding.
To buy Tolkien's house.
Hey, you know John Mulaney, right?
Yeah, we are very good friends.
Yeah, you guys are. No, he's the actor.
You asked me that about a lot of people.
You know of John Mulaney.
Yes, I knew of him.
Yes,
I've
you
watched
know
his
of
comedy.
John Mulaney. He's a comedian, actor. He's Spider-Ham in the Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Do you know he was investigated by the Secret Service?
Really?
Yeah. So, in a recent interview with Jimmy Kimmel, he revealed that he was investigated by the Secret Service after an SNL joke.
Look, I don't want to get too political, but it is often that Trump and people who support him make fun of their opposition for having thin skin. And a lot of times, it's shown to be at least
opposite.
hypocritical.
So here's exactly what he said. I did a joke that was not about Donald Trump, he explained. This is a Rolling Stone article, by the way. The joke was about how it was a leap year, and a leap year had been started by Julius Caesar to correct the calendar. And another thing happened with Caesar is that he was stabbed to death by a bunch of senators.
Sure.
And he said, that's an interesting thing that could happen. Being stabbed to death by a bunch of senators is an interesting thing that could happen.
The Senate controlled by Republicans.
And so apparently the Secret Service heard this and opened an investigation on him.
That's amazing. Do you know what it was? The Secret Service just wanted to meet John Mulaney.
Yes. Hey, this is a reason.
There's a reason we can invest. Any comedian who makes a joke, we gotta.
Dude. He said the word Senate. That's enough.
That's enough. We got it. Well,
that's it.
Yeah, let's move on. Speaking of video games, I played one.
One?
Yeah, I started playing video games this week.
Oh.
Actually, as I mentioned before, my birthday was last week. One of the things I think a good gift is one of those things where it's like, I would like that, but I'm not going to spend my money on it.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be cool to have that, but I'm really not going to. And Ring Fit Adventure, the game for the Switch, was one of those things for me. And my mother-in-law got it for me. And it's super fun. As you can tell, I'm super ripped.
Fox has lost 87 pounds, and I'm concerned because he did not have that much weight.
Whoa! There go my shirts.
You're
I was wearing a hoodie and a t-shirt,
and they both ripped off.
They are obliterated.
Yes,
they atomized because I slightly flexed.
Right,
and so that's just 1 week of Ring Fit Adventure. Comic series, the 10 of Swords event finished.
Oh yeah.
This was a. So.
I'm gonna
Marvel
stop you real quick. I'm gonna interrupt you. I was scrolling through Facebook. I saw an ad, and it was Wolverine with about 80 swords sticking out of him.
That's just
and
a cover.
holding a sword, right? And I just looked at that. And I'm like, that looks silly. I'm not gonna lie.
It was an event that took place in the mutant realm of the
Marvel
they've
Universe.
Got starting next week with the new sword, so it's like shield but sword.
Right.
That storyline, there will now be 10 different Marvel or mutant storylines going. 10 different books, monthly books that involve mutants. They finally got to X of them. 10 of them.
There it is.
There will be another one starting Children of the Atom. But anyway, X of Swords was really interesting in how it was done when compared to other events. So usually you have a big event that's kind of a big crossover event.
Right.
Right now, King of Black just started, which is King in Black, which is kind of the follow-up to Absolute Carnage, Null, the god of the symbiotes. You all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course.
You're in on.
I have no
You're
idea.
in on Null. It just started. It is a typical event where there is like a 5 or 6 issue main series called King in Black, and then there's 10 or 12 tie-in series that are called, King in Black, Captain America, where they are related to what's going on, but if you don't read them, you will not be lost. X of Swords, 10 of Swords, was 22 issues long. Chapter 1 was 10 of Swords Creation, like a big starting thing. And then it was, Chapter 2 was, I don't remember which one it was but like X-Men number 13 was Chapter 2. And then Cable number 3 was Chapter 3. And like, where it basically just weaved through all the different titles.
Yeah.
And meaning that there wasn't one, like they all continued the main story. So you kind of had to read all 22 to get the full, you didn't have to. You could probably skip and know what's going on. And I liked that a lot more.
I have a book, and then I'll get into my movies. But
Sure.
I'm about to finish the Inheritance cycle. I have like 50 pages left.
I forgot
So the Eragon books, they're fantastic. It's so well done. It's so well written. I really want to see a miniseries of these books, like something that takes it seriously and doesn't try to make a fun.
It doesn't have
family fantasy.
What's her name? Like Sapphire.
Saphira.
Yeah, she doesn't just become a dragon in 4 seconds.
Yeah, by flying through a magic cloud. Oh gosh. I saw the movie once and I'm like, oh, this is a fun movie. And then I have so many movies that I got for free at GameStop because we'd have buy two, get one free sales. But it was one of those ones I'm like, I might as well pick this up. And then I read the book and I watched the movie again and I'm like, this is
horrible.
Trash. What garbage.
If I remember correctly, that was a series that kind of like Harry Potter where it matured as the books went on. Where like the content got a little
but imagine
more...
it starting at like 14 and then it jumps to 16 and then it jumps to 18 to 20.
Sure. I watched Point Break.
Wait, which one?
The 1991
Yes.
Keanu Reeves,
Patrick
Swayze
I realized
movie.
the other day that Fast and the Furious is Point Break.
I was literally going to say this. They are the same movie.
Yes, it occurred. I don't know why this never occurred to me, but it just literally just leapt into my brain the other day. Fast and the Furious is Point Break.
It's the same movie, but instead of surf bros, it's car bros.
Yes.
It's just a different kind of bro.
Yes. Also watch Bewitched. And
this is, to be clear, the Will Ferrell,
Nicole Kidman,
Bewitched
2005.
What reboot?
So
parody?
It's weird. Okay, so what this is actually about, what Bewitched is actually about, is in the movie they are rebooting the show.
Oh, meta!
And they need to find the leads for it, and there is Hollywood heartthrob Will Ferrell. I kid you not.
It's like Adam Sandler. They just like have this career where they're popular enough where they can just do whatever they want.
He was terrible for this part. He was the worst part of this movie, and by that, at saying a lot.
That's saying
saying
sure.
so much, and this is somebody like I don't mind Will Ferrell. Like I don't like a lot of his movies, but
most of the time, he's fine.
Most of the time, he's fine. You know what? He was awful in this movie. He was so, but there was zero chemistry.
Sure.
To him and Nicole Kidman, but the shtick is Nicole Kidman is actually a witch.
Yeah.
And she gets the part of Samantha in the new TV show, but she has never experienced, human life before, not witch life, normal person life, and it's her having to deal with, but then falling for the heartthrob, who, by the way, the heartthrob is like super arrogant movie star who is...
Are you saying it's not Will Ferrell?
Yes.
Will Ferrell is the heartthrob.
Yes,
okay.
100%.
All right.
Yes.
I thought that's what you said. I was hoping
but it's hard to believe.
I was hoping it wasn't. Oh, wait. Do you hear that up on the rooftop? Oh no,
it's my daughter's headband of Jingle Bells.
Headband. Yeah, okay,
that's
sorry.
all
I thought it's the 4th. I don't know why I would have thought it.
Yeah, that was weird. I've been watching Christmas movies.
You've been watching Christmas movies,
and I am so excited about it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because 2020 has been a year, but
you are Christmas.
I love Christmas.
You are Christmas,
and maybe because 2020 has been a year, but
this is
even more like
the Christmas time feels a lot more earned this year.
I love Christmas. All this to say, I've been watching Christmas movies, a different Christmas thing every night with my family so far.
Wow.
So I'm going to run through these real quick here in order of how much I enjoyed them.
Okay.
Christmas Chronicles, the very first one. All around, it was a very moderate Christmas movie. Christmas Chronicles 2, pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
I will say they expand the universe of it. Angela's Christmas, These are shorts.
This is an Office spinoff?
These are Irish shorts.
Oh.
And I know, I wish. But there's Angela's Christmas and Angela's Christmas Wish.
Okay.
But these ones are, you know, like those movies where they're the kids and the kids want to get into antics and all the adults seem like buffoons and the kids are like sneaking around. This is that. If the adults aren't buffoons, they're adults. And it's glorious. As a parent, I loved these shorts. I really did. The last one I want to bring up, and the one that was by far my favorite, Jingle Jangle. Forrest Whitaker and some new child actors I don't know.
Okay.
Holy crap. 9 out of 10.
Wow.
This movie was phenomenal.
What is Jingle Jangle
So it's
about?
a Netflix original.
Okay.
And it's, think of like Charles Dickens, but if alchemy is real.
Ooh.
So it's Charles Dickens, but
how steampunky is this, and how much did that relate to your
I would say that it is
love for it.
10% steampunky.
Oh, okay.
And my love for it was not changed at all by that. So, but Keegan-Michael Key and Forrest Whitaker, and there are a lot of great roles. Ricky Martin was in this. He's a voice actor in this.
Oh, okay.
But it's all about a toy maker who finds out he gets the one magical piece to finally complete his first toy, and it turns out to be AI. And it's like this, they don't go into like the AI of it. It's just a toy that thinks for itself. Oh, it's so cool. Well, the toy kind of turns on him, and his apprentice, who feels like he's been overlooked, steals the toy and his sketchbook of all of his toys.
Okay.
And becomes rich and famous on the other guy's ideas while he loses everything. 10 years later, it's his granddaughter that comes, and she can also see the magic. And the magic is math. But again, it's very alchemy-like, where, you know, she's like, there's a song called The Square Root of Possible. And there is like a... like
the nerdiest thing I've ever heard. Cool. Well, that's all I've got, and we've been talking for a long time. Longer than usual.
And we're going to talk even longer.
This is going to be a long one,
always
folks.
do. So why don't you hunker in for the nerdy gritty?
Yeah.
Hey, because it's long, I'm going to make this quick. You listened to an edited version before this. If you like hearing us banter, we talk about a lot more. If you're interested in that, head to patreon.com/DesandFox at our second tier or third tier. You get access to the director's cut of the Nerdy Gritty. It's an unedited version of the Nerdy Gritty. If that's not what you're looking for, no problem at all. We really appreciate it when you can share, when you tell friends about it. Any word of mouth stuff that gets our podcast out there, we really, really appreciate. All in all, thank you so much for listening.
I'm going to do it faster. Patreon, give us money.
Let's get down to the Nerdy Gritty.
All right, so the Game of the Year, Game Awards. The Game Awards are happening, well, as of this posting, in a couple days. This week.
Of days, yeah.
And as we do each year, we're going to go through all the categories and make our predictions, kind of talk about them a little bit.
And we're going to hope that we can get our friend Chris.
Yeah, no. We're good. Yeah,
he's
a cool guy. I haven't talked to him, but he told me last year that he's down.
He told us a year ago that he's down.
Sure.
Hopefully,
whatever. If he doesn't, I'll find him.
Man.
I'll find him and kill him. All right, so I think we should start at the bottom of the list.
Bottom of the list.
We're
all
on
right.
GameAwards.com looking at the things. Let's go through the stuff we do not care about.
Real fast.
Just real fast.
All right.
We're basing most of these, or if not
here's
all
what
of
we
these
Here's
ones.
what we do, by the way. We go through each category, we name the nominees,
sure.
and we talk about who our prediction for the winner is and why.
Yeah.
Easy as that. And then Chris gives us our stats on how close
and
we are.
it's great. We'll hopefully next week or maybe at the week after, however long it takes for him to calculate our stats, we'll go through those as part of it. Anyway,
right.
So let's start at the bottom. We're gonna go through all the esports stuff first.
Best esports team.
I'm going San Francisco Shock.
Hang on. There's Dan One Gaming,
okay.
Dallas Empire, G2 Sports, San Francisco Shock, and Team Secret. Okay.
Team Secret's obviously bad because they're right there. They're not good at keeping secrets. G2 Sports, esports, I assume they're sponsored by Gatorade 2, G2.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I'm
going San Francisco Shock because they just look like they're having a good time in this picture.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Dallas Empire because to me it's the one that sounds most like an actual sports team.
That's true. I'm just not. I don't want an emperor. If anywhere's going to have one, Texas is going to break off and they're going to have their own emperor and it's going to be a thing. I'm a fan of democracy, so when it comes to these categories that we don't care about, we typically intentionally choose different ones.
Yes,
so that we can. So somebody could be right and somebody could be wrong.
Yes, or both can be wrong.
Both be wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we'll keep track there.
All right, best esports host: Alex Golden Boy Mendez, Alex Machine Richardson, F I'm gonna F you.
Deportier. Yep, that's how you say it.
James Dash Patterson, and Jurien Shiver Vander He. Yep.
From Iceland or something like that,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah. All right, I'm going for the one that I can pronounce the least. If you
you sound like a record being played backwards. It's
Zatanna casting a spell over here.
Led Zeppelin.
You're
my little Satan.
So
it's an
EEFJE. That's I'm going with her.
I'm going with Golden Boy. Alex
the
Golden Boy Mendez.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
He is the Golden Boy.
I've heard he's the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
I don't want to vote for Alex Machine Richardson because I do not support the machine takeover. So
right.
That's too dangerous.
I'm
going
to rage against the machine.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best esports game: Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the remake, of course.
Right.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Fortnite, League of Legends, Valorant.
So yep. I'm gonna go with Call of Duty Modern Warfare because I did not hear about it a lot, and this year I heard about it more. That's
really?
Literally all I'm basing
No, that's
this
fair.
on.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
yep.
I'm thinking either League of Legends or Fortnite because both of them I feel like have done, like Fortnite's done some interesting things with the gaming genre, and League of Legends had we had a whole episode about what's her name, one of the characters, and how they're kind of taking that and using it for some. I am gonna go Fortnite though.
Good choice
because they have evolved. I think a little bit more than just here's this.
Fortnite
game.
Was the obvious pick for me, but it's too obvious.
Sure,
so I don't know.
Sure.
I feel like I'm planning like the twist in a movie when really no. If it's the obvious,
probably gonna be Fortnite.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be Fortnite. But no, I'm going Modern Warfare.
All right, best esports event. We've got the Blast premiere, Spring 2020 European Finals. I don't know what that game.
I don't know what any of these things are.
You got Call of Duty League Championship 2020.
There's a league for COD?
Of course there is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We've got IEM Katowice 2020. Don't know what that is. We've got League of Legends World Championship 2020 and the Overwatch League Grand Finals 2020. What you got?
I'm going the Overwatch League.
I'm going to go,
it's Overwatch. That's all I got.
Sure. I'm going to go with the IEM Katowice 2020.
There is a big celebration
because I have no idea what it is.
Yep. Oh, that's good.
Maybe I'll get lucky on that one.
There you go.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Moving on. Let's move through
Best
these.
esports coach.
Yeah, this is important.
Danny Zonic Sorensen, Daehee Krusty Park, Faison
No, that's Fabian.
Fabian. Sorry, the sun is literally in my eyes right now. Like the sun has just gotten to a point where it's like directly in my face. But
Grabs Lohman.
His name is Grabs.
Yeah, that's a red
I'm
flag.
Not gonna vote
that's
for
a red
him.
flag right there.
Lee Zifa Jamin and Raymond Rambo Lucier.
They call him Rambo.
Interesting. I'm going Krusty Park, man. Just because Krusty Park sounds like the worst place to go. And if that's your name, you got to be good.
We couldn't afford Super Nintendo World, so we have to go to Krusty Park. Krusty Park sounds like something from The Simpsons.
It really does.
It's a Krusty a Krusty the Clown themed
theme park.
I'm gonna go with Rambo because I like Rambo, the first movie.
The first movie is very good.
So I'm going to go with Raymond Rambo Lucier.
All right, Rambo.
Yeah.
You got this.
You best not screw this up for me.
Best esports athlete.
The epitome of it's not a phase. This can be a real job, Mom.
And for these guys it is. They make lots of money.
It is 100%.
They do. Yeah. Ian Crimsix Porter. I'm going to let you read them because I'm getting blinded over here. The sun is in the worst spot for me.
I'm pronouncing this wrong for sure, but Hyo Showmaker Sue, Kim Canyon Gyunbu, Anthony Shotzi Cuevas Castro, and Matthew Ziwu Herbo. Those are all pronounced perfectly.
Yep.
So we got Ziwu, Shotzi, Canyon, Showmaker, or Crim 6?
I'm going Shotzi because Shotzi Cuevas Castro sounds really fun.
That guy
to say.
sounds pretty cool.
Shotzi Cuevas Castro.
I like Kim Canyon. Sounds like a cool, cool
Kim
person.
Canyon sounds like an adventure, like
Oh
Indiana
yeah, like a Where in the
Jones's.
World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah.
Where in the World is Kim Canyon?
Yeah,
She's
like that.
always in the Grand Canyon.
He.
It's very easy. Sorry, he. Well, in this show.
Oh, all right.
That's about,
There you go. Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's a woman.
All right. I got Shotzi. You got
All right,
Kim.
now we're actually on to actual games.
Things
Stuff
that we know,
care
things
more
that
about.
we can vote on.
The thing is, we might not know about all of these games. We know about a lot of the
vast
games
majority, actually.
in the biggest categories, but
Yeah.
in some of these, we're not going to know them all. So we'll yeah. So this is best debut game, specifically best debut game created by a new independent studio.
Right.
So we've got Carrion, which is by Phobia Games, Mortal Shell by Cold Symmetry. Got Raji, an ancient epic by Nodding Heads, Roki by Polygon Treehouse, and Phasmophobia by Kinetic Games. I have played 2 of these games.
I've played none of these games.
And both of those were actually the demo for them. I played Roki and Raji in Ancient Epic.
But I've seen a lot of Mortal Shell, and it looks real good.
I actually played the demo for that one too, I just realized. And it was a Souls.
Yeah.
It was a Souls with an extra mechanic added into it. I am going for Raji and Ancient Epic.
I'm going to go with Mortal Shell on that one.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. All right.
Let's move on.
Content Creator of the Year.
Oh, yeah, this other one we don't
Other
care
one
about.
that we're not going to know anything about. After that, we're going to get into some games that we know.
Sure,
You can see
yeah,
that.
hopefully.
Alana Pierce. J. Allen Lopez.
Nope, J.
J.
Lopez.
N. Lopez. Nick Merckx.
Nick Merckx.
Tim the Tapman. And Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
I'm going to go with Valkyrie.
I'm going to go Alana Pierce. It's the only person I've ever actually seen somewhere on things. I have watched
just
Alana
sounds
Pierce
cool.
content.
I like that. Have you?
She
Oh,
was,
there you go.
if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, she was one of the people who played when they got the 4-hour demo for Cyberpunk. She was one of the people who was talking.
yeah.
I watched her video talking about it. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Now let's get into closer to where things we know about.
Games that we have played at least. Yeah.
All right. So best multiplayer of game of the year. Oh no, this is best multiplayer.
Yes.
So just the
Best
actual multiplayer experience.
Yes.
The nominees are Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Among Us, Call of Duty: Warzone, Fall Guys: Ultimate Knockout, and again Valorant.
I'm going to tell you which one I do not want to get it, and I hope they don't, and they shouldn't.
Sure.
Animal Crossing.
I understand what you're saying that, because Animal Crossing in a co-op experience was not great.
In a co-op experience was not great. In a family, like any sort of local multiplayer,
Any sort
was
of
a
local.
negative experience.
Online with people who aren't around you, really great actually.
Well,
Visiting people's islands that are across the country,
You can't-
that was a fun time.
why would that be innovative or fun or interesting or anything like that? Like, what about Animal Crossing's multiplayer makes it worthy of an award?
No, I
is my
don't think it should
question.
win either. I agree.
Yeah.
What I am saying is that I did have fun with Animal Crossing online, but it was exclusively when I was with people who were not near me. When it was just, hey, my friends are playing in Texas and Arizona. I'm going to hang out with them and go fishing. That was a really fun time. And so, yeah, I don't think it should win, but I do want to give it. It wasn't a complete disaster.
Right.
It was mostly bafflingly bad.
Yeah.
Weirdly, non-optimized.
Yes.
It was strange.
Really limited. I'm surprised it's here. I understand it's here because it's Animal Crossing and it's a big name, but
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%.
its multiplayer was its worst part.
It was,
It
yeah,
really
it
was.
did not live up to my expectations.
I want to give this to Fall Guys.
Okay.
Because I think Fall Guys did something really unique in that they made the game turnover really quick. You could jump in and out of lobbies really fast. If you lost immediately in that first round, so easy to get right back into a lobby,
Sure.
jump back into the game again. There were some frustrating parts where a lot of times people would feel like chance was what made them win.
Sure.
But I think that's good in a
They're
game
real
like
short
this.
matches, 15 or 20 minutes, right?
Right. It's good in a game like this where chance can win because that means if you're not as good, you can still win sometimes.
Sure,
you can
100%.
still get that lucky time.
Chance is okay as long as it is applied equally to everybody, and that was
absolutely
that was the case with this.
And then the one thing that I really think makes Fall Guys stand out, it is super fun to watch.
Yes, absolutely.
Even just being a spectator was great.
I think
I
that's
want
also
to give it to Fall Guys.
I'm gonna give it to Among Us for similar reasons. Among Us was super low demand. You could play it on your phone. You could play whatever.
Right.
It also was I have watched a group of people play it on a YouTube video, and it's even more fun knowing what happened and then being able to watch everybody complain or lie or and it's super fun. It's like playing Mafia, like the classic youth group game.
Yeah,
it's literally the same thing. It's the same thing but digitized. And it's super fun to watch play, being played.
Among Us would be my second vote.
I'm gonna give it to Among Us, keeping in line with doing separate ones. I'm gonna go with Among Us.
Yeah. All right.
Here's my
really
bread and butter.
Best sports
really
racing.
What I'm all about. Best sports and racing. I'm a big race head.
Dirt 5.
I'm a big racist.
F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K1, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
No question here, Tony Hawk.
You think?
Done. Yes.
Is it only because
for
you
me,
think? Yeah, I was going to say.
Easily Tony Hawk. And I also think, yes, it will win.
You do?
Yes, it brought back the cultural impact that the original Tony Hawk game had, but for 2020. It just upgraded it and made it even better, I think, to a certain extent. So, and the rest of them are just the updates of. I mean, Dirt 5 is probably more than an update.
Dirt 5, I have heard a lot about.
Have you?
And this, I'm torn.
This is a category where, again, we don't know.
Right.
I played a lot of Tony Hawk. I haven't played any of the
I'm
others.
torn between Dirt 5 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater because, again, I don't do racing games. In fact, most of the people that I know or watch don't do racing games.
Yeah.
But yet this is caught on my peripherals several times.
Yeah.
And that just made me think it must be good. But I'm going to agree with you, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, because it has more of a cultural impact, I think. There is a lot more that happens around it than just a racing game. So.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the best remakes. Where it's hey, it captures what was loved about the original and also streamlines some of the problems the original had, brings in some elements from later games in the series that even though they weren't in this game specifically, we still remember them being super important for Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's it wasn't there. Why would it be there? I'd still be upset though, like a revert. So anyway, yeah, Tony Hawk for sure.
It's a lot like the Resident Evil remakes, where it's a remake in a sense of it has the spirit of it,
same
but it's
story
better in every way.
Yeah, but it's an upgrade.
Best sim strategy.
Again, really just what I do with my life.
I know all but one of these. I don't know.
I know what they are for sure. I know 100% what will win.
Yes, I do too.
Absolutely.
I think so. Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. And it's again one of those things where it's it changed the game. It done changed the game.
So seeing article. Okay, best sim strategy: Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, XCOM Chimera Squad.
Yes.
I read an article the other day that was somebody couldn't look out the window on their airplane, so they opened up Microsoft Flight Simulator and they took their flights and just looked at their screen and they said yeah, it was about right. It was good.
Yeah.
There's it's incredible.
NoClip did a half-an-hour documentary on how they created the whole world and how they did all of that. It was really great to watch. But it was a really great documentary, and then it's here's some technical stuff, but also let's talk about the impact it had. And there was a study not a study, but when in QA, in testing Microsoft Flight Simulator, they found first place people would go, they'd boot up this game and literally have the entire world at their fingertips, could fly anywhere they want, and first place where they went, what do you think it was?
Home.
The very first place they went, and I think in 2020, when you could not fly to anywhere you wanted like you could before, to be able to just it had one of the developers he's I couldn't fly home to other country, wherever, France maybe. And so he's I booted up the game, flew to my neighborhood, and called my parents and said, hey, I'm kind of there. And it's this another cultural impact beyond just great game.
Yeah.
So
there's more to it than just playing simulator.
Yeah.
It really is the travel that we didn't get to do in 2020.
Right.
Because of the realism
it's an
provides.
Interesting year for games where Crusader Kings 3 being amazing, maybe, isn't really the most important thing right now.
Very much so. Very much so, yes.
Yeah. All right. Best family game.
Which I can actually see where you might lean toward multiplayer of Animal Crossing at that point.
Sure.
The ability to just go hang out with your friends.
Go hang out. Yeah, 100%. That was what I was trying to say. Like, hanging out with my friends across the country was a real. I don't normally get to do that either way, but it was fun to be able to do. Best family game this year, not entirely dominated by Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like last year.
Entirely.
No, actually, it's like half the games that aren't
only
Nintendo.
Half and half, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got, what is that? Oh, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live, Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario: The Origami King.
I give this one to Animal Crossing because this is not for a family. Not this category. This category is for a game that is safe for the whole family.
That is safe for the family. Yeah, it's not like best family game experience.
Yes,
playing together.
To play as a family.
Yeah.
No, this is one where it's just so cute and fun, and my 6-year-old played.
And it is an extremely great game.
Yeah.
If you're not playing multiplayer, it's a great game. And some of these are just like, wait, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit? Why? Minecraft Dungeons, I'm sure, is fine.
Yeah.
I've heard very middling things about
it is
Paper Mario.
It is a middling dungeon crawler with the Minecraft skin.
The Minecraft skin.
Yeah.
So to me, Animal Crossing is, again, the no-brainer here.
Yep.
And Crash Bandicoot, it is a family-friendly game, but it's not going to be fun for a lot of your like a lot of people.
You're grown up. Your parents are going to want to play that.
Sure.
Animal Crossing, parents will play that. Like,
right.
Grandma and
100%.
Grandpa will play Animal Crossing for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, Animal Crossing's got that one.
All right. Best fighting game. We've got Grand Blue Fantasy versus. We've got Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, and then Under Night In Birth EXE late parentheses CL-R. It's an Arc System Works game, so it's probably pretty good.
Right.
But I love when stupid titles.
Anime names, man.
Yeah, just like, names. What does that mean? All right, here's where I'm going to introduce one of my, it hasn't really been a thing so far for me, one of my rules as far as Game Award nominations.
Okay.
I will not vote for a game that did not actually come out this year. I'm not going to vote for Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate because that game did not come out this year.
Came out.
DLC for it came out this year.
Yeah.
The Ultimate. Same with Street Fighter 5. I'm going to assume the other three came out this year. I'm not positive about that, but I do know for a fact we played Grand Blue Fantasy versus. We did. There's a picture right on your wall.
Yeah, I got it right there.
Us. It's a really great picture. So that means I have to vote for a game that I've never played because the only one out of these I played is Mortal Kombat 11.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with Grand Blue.
I
actually have played. We played the demo.
I played Grand Blue Fantasy. I've seen Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and One Punch Man. Actually, I have not don't know anything about that last one.
Sure.
But I'm gonna give it to Grand Blue Fantasy because it introduced a sword fighting mechanic that was really interesting. There was a lot of parrying and blocking involved with that. Is very fighting game-esque, but in the style of swords.
Yeah.
As we were playing it,
like another Arc System Works.
Yeah, Arc System Works is fantastic.
They do what they do.
But I really like that the sword fighting mechanic that it brought with it. So I'm giving it to Grand Blue Fantasy versus.
All right, so I made my rule clear. Are you on that same train? Will you vote just to be clear for the audience? Are you gonna?
Here's what I'll say.
Okay.
There's what I want to win, and there's what I think will win.
Okay.
I will not personally vote for one that did not come out this year.
Okay.
I do agree with you on that, but that doesn't mean I don't think something's
Oh, sure.
win.
There's always that two thing. This one I think will probably be Street Fighter, maybe?
Oh, really?
I don't know. I honestly don't know with this one. Mortal Kombat 11 was really great. Like, they've had some solid DLC and cool characters come out.
Yeah.
The fighting game is actually really fun, and the single-player stuff was really fun, but I really don't know what will win here.
I'm giving it to Grand Blue Fantasy.
Okay, yeah. So we agree on that one.
Yeah.
All right, best role-playing game.
Here we go.
We got Final Fantasy VII Remake. We got Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. I have played the first three of those. I have not played Wasteland 3 or Yakuza Like a Dragon. Also, actually, I haven't played Persona 5 Royal. I've played Persona 5.
Right. I have played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I have seen all of the other ones other than Wasteland.
I'm going to give this one to Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Final Fantasy VII, pretty easy, I think. Number one, I think the other options are a little bit just weaker in general.
Persona 5 is an incredible game.
I was going to stop and say, except Persona 5, but just because this is the add-on.
This is the yes, DLC. It's the same thing. It's just the next game, but enhanced. It's got more content, but yes.
Right.
And the reason why, I'll explain this. The reason why I don't like that is not because the game isn't good anymore. Game still might be. Royal is apparently even better. But it's basically being able. It's like the Justice League Snyder Cut. We were talking about this new thing is it's not really just a remake or a sequel or the same. It's not the same movie that Zack Snyder wanted to make way back then.
Right. Because
he's now had 4 years to see all of the critic reviews. It has that, like, it's like a baseball player using steroids or something, where there's an artificial enhancement where they've gotten to patch all this, they've gotten to add stuff into it, and it just because it's a new version doesn't mean
they've been able to make
game.
their game receive all the criticisms and then tweak it and change it and re-release it at that point. And that's, I feel like it is a little bit unfair.
Right.
But even above that, I know that you weren't a big fan of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Sure.
But the gameplay itself was fantastic.
My favorite part of it.
The combat system was through the roof good. It did a fantastic job of honoring the original, but changing it enough that it was still a new experience that you didn't exactly know what was going to happen next. There were story beats that
I didn't, because I never finished Final Fantasy VII.
There were story beats that you knew would have to come, but then there would be twists and turns that me, as a very seasoned Final Fantasy VII person, was like, whoa, this is crazy. So it did a lot of really new things, and it did them really well, I think. And of course, the aesthetics of it were fantastic.
Sure.
Unless you were an NPC. Then they, looked ridiculous.
Then you look like a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact made a splash because it was basically a high zoot mobile game with all the kind of underhanded tactics of a mobile game. That's why I don't want it to win. It was it kind of disrespected your time and made you pay to play more. And
I will give a shout out to Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Apparently it looks real fun,
and there's a lot of good feedback from it. It's does not take itself seriously and really camped.
It's the Yakuza series,
right? But it changes the combat system as well, and it is also doing a lot of new things or bringing back old things. Is what I will say.
I've only played the original, like Yakuza 0, the very the chronology of the series, the first one.
So this is really good, but I don't think it'll beat Final Fantasy VII.
No, Final Fantasy VII got it for sure.
Best action adventure.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2.
I've got all of these under my belt except for Will of the Wisps, which I have purchased and intend to play very soon.
I haven't actually played any of these, but I have watched every single one of them.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with all of them. Which one of these is the best, I think?
Let's look at the actual for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
Oh, I do like that.
That's the actual category, like definition.
Right. But I'm going to give it to Ghost of Tsushima for this.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think that's number one because I don't think it's going to win in another category. I think that this is going to make it shine in its other categories. But also, this had a minimalist approach that was really beautiful in its style, and I think that visually its aesthetic was great, as well as the combat system was one that lets you take a lot of options and go a lot of different directions. But it was I think Ghost of Tsushima for best action adventure.
For me, I can take out 3 of them pretty quickly. I mean, I haven't played Will of the Wisps.
Goodbye.
I'm going to take out Star Wars, which was a fine Souls-like. I'm going to take out Valhalla. I've played 7 hours of it. It's a fine Assassin's Creed game. It's got some cool things, got some dumb things.
I hear it's one of the better Assassin's Creed games, but it's another Assassin's Creed
It's
game.
fine. It's fine.
I personally, I haven't played any of them, but I've watched a lot of them.
Yeah.
I am not a fan.
Man, but if you're like me, who loves massive collectathons,
that's fair.
all about it, 100%.
Yeah.
So anyway, it means Ghost of Tsushima, Miles Morales, and Last of Us Part 2 are up there for me. I want to say Last of Us Part 2. That is probably my, spoilers, probably my game of the year.
Me too.
But
that's why I'm not giving it this.
As far as the actual category definition goes, I don't know if it falls under that as well as these other ones.
I'm
going to go with Miles Morales on this one, because I loved Miles Morales, and I think it falls under this category a little better. Less
Especially
linear.
the traversal part
Traversal,
of it.
yeah, that's true. Traversal in what's it called? In Last of Us was just a means to an end. I did not just enjoy walking around.
Yep.
I enjoy swinging.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give this Miles Morales, partially also so that we pick different things.
Yeah. All right. Best action.
Best action.
Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4.
All right. I've played just the first two.
I have played Hades. I am familiar with Doom Eternal and Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah. I played the first Neo. I haven't played the sequel, and Streets of Rage I know nothing about. I'm going to give this to Doom Eternal.
I am
no
too.
problem.
Yeah, Doom Eternal, I think, especially as far as action goes.
Yeah, incredible action game.
The pacing of this game, holy crap, man.
Yeah, it's super fun. I'm going strictly with the combat here. It's a little disappointed by the story. It went a little more wide than I feel like it should have. But the action, the actual combat was super varied. Added some new stuff without feeling like it was oversaturated with like mechanics. And yeah, just incredibly well crafted.
Well, and it's so fast paced, and
chess,
then they manage to give you these breathing
chess.
points at what you feel like is the exactly right spot.
Yeah, that's true.
Whew, all right, let's get back in there, and of course,
yeah, and then the music. Oh man,
yeah, which we'll get to later.
Yeah,
but
100%.
yeah,
but I'm giving this to Doom Eternal.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree. All right, innovation and accessibility.
See, so I love these kind of categories where it's just like, it's not just best game or whatever. It's, hey, what are you doing to make games better?
Right.
So this is recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. I do not feel at all prepared to, I don't know really what was added to any of these games. I don't know anything about this.
I know some stuff on all but Hyperdot here.
Okay.
So Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as far as just accessibility goes, there's obviously like difficulty levels and things like that.
Sure.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperbot, Last of Us Part 2, Hyperdot 2, Last of Us Part 2, Hyperdot, Last of Us Part 2, and Watch Dogs Legion.
Yes.
I'm going to give it to Watch Dogs Legion here.
Okay.
Because what they have done is they've given this ability to take on any mission with any type of person, and you can recruit anybody in the world.
Sure.
Literally anyone in the world. And their abilities are greater or lesser or to specific areas or other areas. And when you approach missions, there's almost this, you know what, if I choose that person, it's going to be easy. But if I choose that person, I might get some extra loot, some extra
kind of
items.
A chosen difficulty.
It's almost like the original like Dark Souls and Demon Souls, where Mage was kind of OP.
Yeah.
And the game difficulty was all the same, but who you chose to roll was going to change
your
difficulty.
You get to choose how difficult it is.
Watch Dogs Legion does that very well.
Okay.
It really does. So I'm giving it to Watch Dogs Legion.
I'm going to give it to, I'm literally kind of choosing at random because it does go beyond just difficulty. It goes into like readability of text. You know what? Actually, because of that thing I just said and just realized, I'm going to give it to Valhalla.
Okay.
They have done away with like, you know how in Last of Us Part 2, you can look at a piece of like an in-game bit of text or like lore or whatever, like you find a note and then it has it written on the note, but then you can press a button and then just read it in plain text.
Yes.
Valhalla just doesn't even do that first part. Just all the text is just big and bold and you can just read through it.
That's nice.
And it makes a lot of the lore just a lot easier to handle. And like, I'm gonna give it to
understand the
Valhalla.
immersion, but also we need to read this.
It is in no way breaking. I mean, Valhalla is not an immersive game to me.
Yeah.
It's another Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It's kind of the downside to such a long-running series and with such similar mechanics is I'm not immersed in any of those games usually. But I'm going to give it to that just because in my experience, that is something that has helped me access what's in the game, even though I'm generally not the target for
something like that. Accessibility, yeah.
So let's go to that.
All right.
Best VR/AR for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. So we have Dreams, we have Half-Life Alyx, we have Marvel's Iron Man VR, we have Star Wars Squadrons, and we have The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
So I'm torn on this one.
Are you?
Very much so. So I'm familiar with 4 of these. I'm familiar with Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Iron Man, and Squadrons.
I know what all of them are. I've not played any of them. I've watched a little bit of Half-Life Alyx, and that's about it.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit, as much as I can watch VR type stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Walking Dead. Iron Man VR was fine.
I think it was it's just like it felt like shovelware a little bit.
It kind of,
But
yeah.
for an extra, you have to get a whole extra system.
Squadrons was a really good flight simulator for being a flight simulator. There was no HUD. It was all your literal, like,
what you're
ship
seeing
stuff.
in this, yeah.
Did a really good job with that, but it did not give life to VR the way Half-Life Alyx did.
I'm going to go Half-Life Alyx for sure, because that's the first game that I've ever seen where I'm like, maybe I want to get VR. I don't, and it's not enough, but it was the first one I was like, oh, interesting.
Dreams, on the other hand, Dreams is almost like Minecraft, where people are making things that you never knew people could make.
Sure.
And I'm going to give it to Dreams for that reason.
Okay.
Dreams has been like, the things that are coming out, I'm still like, hey, this is what this person made in Dreams. Like, it's incredible to see the creativity that Dreams is providing, and it's something that could not be done in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
And that's why Half-Life Alyx could have been done on a console or on PC.
That's true.
And it wouldn't have been the
that makes
same.
sense.
But Dreams, the things people are doing in Dreams could not be done in another venue, and they're amazing. They really are.
Yeah, so it's kind of the difference between advancing games and advancing specifically VR.
Yeah.
To me. So yeah. And we got
Dreams.
We got different ones, so that's nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
All right, next, best community support.
Oh, I don't know about this one.
I got nothing.
Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockouts, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant. Community support.
Most of these are. I'm gonna go with No Man's Sky.
Good call.
I like it, and they've improved the game so much.
I'm gonna go with Apex Legends because every experience I've had with Apex Legends has been really friendly. That's a true story.
Great.
Yeah.
I also want to clarify. I know No Man's Sky didn't come out this year, but this isn't about the game. It's about the community support, and that can change. So No Man's Sky.
I don't know that Destiny 2 came out this year either.
No, it's a couple years
or
old.
Apex Legends did not.
Yeah, most of them are not.
No.
Yeah, I think only Valorant
Fortnite.
came out this year,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right, best mobile game.
Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. This is where I gave it to Among Us.
Okay. Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
Because, number one, Genshin Impact, Pokemon Cafe Mix, there's some of these that are definitely in that mobile game,
yes.
gashapon type, try to get you Skinner box. That's what Skinner box methods, things like that.
Maybe you'll get something good on the next poll.
Among Us is just fun.
Just a fun,
and it's a community fun.
Group
like
game,
you go and you play with people.
Right.
So
in an effort to be different than you, I'm gonna go with Legends of Runeterra, and I have no justification.
Okay, good job.
So let's move on.
You did it. Best indie.
All right.
I fought in my brain about this for a long time. Carrion,
yeah,
Fall Guys,
this is a big
Hades, Spelunky, Spiritfarer.
We've only played Hades and Spiritfarer. I'm familiar with Spelunky 2 and Carrion, but and I guess I know what Fall Guys is also. But so between I know for a fact that for us it's between Hades and Spiritfarer.
Yes,
I'm going Spiritfarer.
I am also going Spiritfarer, and here is why: because Hades is a fantastic thing that has been done before. It is the probably the greatest roguelike that I've ever played. That's for sure.
It's definitely one of the apex roguelike games.
Yes. Spiritfarer did something new, man. And it's a lot of little things,
little things that have been done
together,
before, but in a combination that is new.
Yes, and it was delightful. It really is. But so I'm going Spiritfarer.
All right.
I am. We're getting to ones that I've actually voted for now.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I can see exactly what I picked and why.
All right, best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is considered, I guess it is an ongoing game.
You're constantly changing. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that's true. I just don't, it's not really in the same realm as the others.
No, not even close.
Best ongoing game, what you got?
I picked No Man's Sky, actually.
Picked No Man's Sky.
Because of how it has evolved. It has chosen to see its faults and has evolved over time. And if it keeps up like this, as it keeps going, the fact ongoing being the key word here for me, it's going to get great.
I'm going to go with No Man's Sky also because it doesn't have any predatory tactics for gaining. You buy the game, and that's the game.
Yeah.
So you got it. There you go. It doesn't have any of those, like, it doesn't have loot boxes or anything, so I like that.
No Man's Sky. All right. Games for Impact.
So this is one specifically that we played Spiritfarer. That's on our channel. And then the rest of them we bought to play or at least to experience a little bit. And so
we have all played, other than I didn't get to play Tell Me Why. I had to watch it because for some odd reason it didn't work on my computer.
Yeah, the only one I didn't get to play was Kentucky Route Zero.
So we have played all of these,
yes,
at least a little bit.
Yes,
and I kind of want to briefly talk about all of them as quick as possible.
Okay, yeah, a couple seconds.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Then I won't talk about all of them. But here's what I will say. I'm giving it to Spiritfarer.
Yeah.
Not because it has the best narrative. The narrative of If Found, I cried. It was phenomenal. It was so well done.
Thought it was okay.
It was told in such a good way that made you. It's told via a journal, and you are erasing your memories in this journal as you're going.
You're erasing stuff from your past.
And it's really just showing the struggle you have as somebody who has come out as trans and is not accepted by their family, as well as the accessibility it had with the Irish culture, where there was a lot of Irish speak and some Gaelic in there, and you didn't understand it, but there was always like a little click this and see what we're talking about. Really, really well done. Through the Darkest of Times, I also really enjoyed the narrative of that as well. The gameplay was unique too, something really cool to kind of like form how you want to have your...
you play as the resistance against the Nazi regime. And what I liked about that is, fine strategy, but also this is real stuff. You go weekly, and every week, here's news headlines for what happened. That actually happened in real life. So while you're playing this game, you are also learning about the process from like 1933 to the end of World War II, what happened with the Nazis, and just kind of getting it. You are learning at the same time as you are playing a pretty well-created strategy game.
The one that really tips it in Spiritfarer's direction for me is it also was a great game.
Yes.
It was so much fun to play.
Yeah.
Although the rest of these, with a little bit of an exception for Through the Darkest of Times, there was some game elements to it. But the other ones were more of a narrative experience.
More narrative focused, which is fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But with Spiritfarer, you get that extremely great narrative and also extremely well-crafted game.
Yes.
Where you are doing village sim and lots of stuff too, crafting and all these things that just combine where you genuinely care about the characters and what they're going through, and also the place you've created for them through these game mechanics. And for sure. Particularly
for the part of impact. So that's why I think it deserves the game part of best. For the impact part, it's very much a certain group of people that are going to benefit from If Found and Tell Me Why, and even Kentucky Route Zero. Through the Darkest of Times, I think anybody can benefit from, but it's kind of a tough subject, something that's hard for a lot of people to understand. My kids played Spiritfarer, and my middle came in one day, and he's like, I got rid of Gwen, and he was crying. And I sat down and I talked to him about like loss and moving on and getting to see new people again and meeting new people. The other day, my oldest came in and she was crying because she got rid of Stanley. And I talked to her about loving people while we have them and things like the literal impact it had on my family.
Yeah, that had a direct, they learned things. They had an emotional experience. Yeah, it's great.
So well done.
So we're going for Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer for sure.
Although all of them had some good stuff in them.
Yeah.
Best performance.
This was real hard for me.
All right. Ashley Johnson as Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. Laura Bailey as Abby from The Last of Us Part 2. I cannot pronounce that name.
Daisuke Tsuchi.
There you go. As Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima. Logan Cunningham as a Hades from Hades. And Naji Jeter as Miles Morales from Miles Morales.
Right.
To me, this is between Abby and Ellie.
Yep. I agree. Although I will say Logan Cunningham crushed
Hades
it
is
as
great.
Hades.
No, they all did a great job. I loved Miles. Miles Morales was an excellent character.
Yeah.
I'm going Abby on this one.
I'm going Ashley. I'm
going
Ellie.
Laura Bailey as Abby.
I'm going Ashley Johnson.
Oh!
Yeah. So here's why. I think being able to have to go back and act the parts where she was still a kid with hope and happiness, and that whole scene where she's in the spaceship for her birthday and whatnot.
Such a great scene.
Oh my gosh. Having to go back and act those parts, and then having to turn around and on other days in the same game, though, the same character, act the torture of people.
Just the defeated...
And also seeing that she hates the torture, knowing that she's doing this because of her anger, but she also doesn't really want... I gave it to Ashley Johnson. It was so close, though. I agree.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's kind of a coin toss for me.
Yeah.
Very slight advantage for Abby just because I love the character arc she has and just the... And, an acting performance isn't the same as the writing for the character, but I really loved Abby's at the end, just seeing the wrong she was doing and making that decision to change.
Very much
and Abby could not. And that's not the same as the acting performance. They were both excellent, but I'm going to go with Abby on this one.
All right.
Laura Bailey.
Man, they both.
Best audio design, Doom Eternal, no problem. Okay, best audio design, Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, Last of Us Part 2.
And this is audio and not score.
Not score.
Okay.
Best audio design.
I went Half-Life Alyx.
Really?
Oh, the tension that it builds in that game.
I'm sure it's great. I did not experience it in like the VR, like hearing it all around, kind of like immersive. I just watched it, which not saying it was bad or anything, but Doom Eternal's soundtrack, combined with the sound effects, combined with the world environment, I just thought was excellent.
I had to remove soundtrack from this to focus on the audio design.
You can do that because the soundtrack
that's a good point.
is the audio.
But there is one specifically for the score, though. That's why I divorced the two.
That makes sense.
I do get what you're saying.
That makes sense to me.
I give it to Half-Life Alyx because I think there may have been an advantage to it because as somebody who gets motion sick, I put it on a second screen. So I'm mostly listening to it.
You heard it more than you watched it.
Very much. I heard it more than I watched it.
Interesting.
And the atmosphere that it creates with sound is very successful. It really is.
Shout out for Ghost of Tsushima because I think it did a really good job of creating when you're just riding through, the fields. It's just a great natural,
gentle audio.
Yeah.
Very much so. I agree. Yes.
All right. Best score in music.
I gave that to Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2. I'm going Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. Now, Hades was a close second for me, mostly because I wanted...
Darren Korb?
Korb, Darren Korb needs some sort of honorable mention in the Game Awards.
That guy's incredible.
Somehow. Because not only does he make a fantastic soundtrack, he is also the voice of Orpheus. He sings and is fantastic. He's also the voice of Skelly, the skeleton. Yeah. He's hilarious. He's also the voice of Zagreus, the main character in the game. And then he wrote all the music. Yeah. He crushed it on this game. He made this game phenomenal in so many ways, but the score wasn't the best score.
I think the score, he's an excellent composer.
Fantastic,
he's done all the music for Supergiant Games, and every single game has I still remember.
I still listen to Bastion.
I listen to Bastion soundtrack on a regular basis. Doom Eternal's soundtrack, though, the first game was incredible, and this one took it to another level. It had chainsaw sounds incorporated into the music. It created it to even more a higher extent a combination of heavy metal but electronic, where you have this organic but technological, which is kind of what the game is about in a lot, or the aesthetic of the game in a lot of ways. So I thought that was really cool, as well as there was a literal heavy metal choir that they created. They brought together 40 different heavy metal vocalists from all kinds of different genres.
That's incredible.
So whenever you hear not like the chorale, but shouting, when you hear a chanting or whatever in the soundtrack, that's actual heavy metal artists. You have Tibetan throat singing involved in there. There's just so many different genres, as well as just they also kind of tell the story of the game through the soundtrack if you listen to it in the right order, which, hey, there's a whole controversy actually about Mick Gordon and what's the creator of Doom?
Oh,
the
Romero.
Company. No, the company. Dang it, I can't remember their name. Anyway, there was a whole Mick Gordon editing, lots of stuff that went on, but the soundtrack he created, excellent. So yeah,
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
The reason I gave it to them is for a lot of the reason I like Jingle Jangle as well, where there's what you expect from video game scores, orchestral and beautiful, and and Final Fantasy VII, Will of the Wisps, Last of Us Part 2 brought these things. Hades has some of that, but it's also very Greek inspired, whatnot.
Sure.
You don't expect a metal soundtrack. And to do that and do it beautifully, and do it successfully, to blend this game in to heighten your game in such a great way,
Usually,
well done.
Usually when you hear like a movie soundtrack and it's just kind of generic rock, it's bad.
Yes.
It's not. It's just like lame. Like I think of like the older like Resident Evil movies,
Right.
where it's just kind of like butt rock.
Yes.
And it's just like it's just cheaper to make, so they throw it in there. This took that and elevated the game with it.
It elevated the game.
It wasn't butt
very
rock.
much
It
so.
was, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Best art design.
This either easy.
This is really
Oh,
okay.
man.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, or Last of Us Part 2. You're gonna hear a lot of repeats in these last couple. This
so
one.
once we get from here on, there was a lot of repeats because there were some phenomenal games this year.
Yes.
Hades.
I assume you're going Hades.
Oh my gosh, the art in this game.
For me, in this, it'd be between Hades and Ori, and I like Hades more. The rest of them
Ori
kind of
was also beautiful.
sure,
It really was
beautiful.
But the number one, each hand-drawn character.
Sure. And I mean,
is
Ori was also
stellar.
hand drawn, but
No, what I'm saying is, each individual one was stellar. Like,
Yeah.
Each individual piece of art in that, you look at it and it's incredible.
right.
And then they all come together to make this incredible game. And then the emotion that they use, because each character has like 3 different poses depending on what's going on, and you can just see so much emotion in the faces
Sure,
of these
yeah.
people. And that's just the stills. Let's not talk about the actual art of the game and the colors and the vibrancy
animation
that's
style,
brought.
yeah.
Oh man, Hades crushed it for me.
Yeah, for the like Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy, and Last of Us were all just kind of we're beautiful looking, but I'm more of a specific. I like an aesthetic more than I like realistic.
Right.
So when it comes to art direction, I'll go with Hades with you on that one.
Ghost of Tsushima would have been my second here,
Oh, really?
just because it was something that hadn't been done. I'm not going to say it's unique. It's something that hadn't been done in a while.
Sure.
That samurai with the open fields and things
Yeah,
like that. It was
yeah.
done really well, but Hades gets my vote for this.
Best narrative, Final 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. How do you pronounce that? Aegis or Aegis?
Aegis. Aegis is how you pronounce it.
Okay, Aegis.
I used to say Aegis,
Aegis Elba.
and I looked it up a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
It's Aegis.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Last of Us Part 2.
Admittedly, I did not finish the story of Ghost of Tsushima, so I couldn't have voted for that.
It's great, but
Final Fantasy VII Remake was crazy and kind of convoluted sometimes.
I hated the story.
Yeah, I know you
It
did.
should be in
And so-
worse narrative. That's
Last
the thing,
of Us
right?
Part 2 was hard. It was good, but it was hard, and I understand why some people just dislike it. Not because it was bad, but it was
It was hard to get. Yeah,
narrative.
there's not happy feelings
Yeah.
in this game.
And I've never played 13 Sentinels, so I gave it to Hades.
Really, I'm going Last of Us.
You are going Last
I
of Us?
loved the narrative. I thought it was. There's a concept in writing called killing your darlings, and it's doing what might not feel the nicest because you love what you've created, but doing what feels right. And I think that's what Last of Us Part 2 did. It actually took the consequences of what their beloved characters did and brought them into this world. So if we're expecting Joel to just live happily ever after, even though he essentially destroyed the world, doomed the world, then we are wanting just a fantasy game rather than an actual real life narrative that would take place in this world.
Yeah.
As well as I loved how they constructed. I loved the flashbacks. I actually really liked getting like to a certain point and then rewinding and seeing those 3 days again as Abby.
It was
loved how
really
they-
cool, yeah.
Having to get into her shoes and finding out who she is. I loved a lot of the things that people didn't like. I actually thought were extremely beneficial to the game. So I'm gonna go with Last of Us on this one.
Hades did something where, I mean, I'm not going to say it did something unique because it's something that's done before.
Sure.
But the way that it had its characters grow over this time and the way that they portrayed this father-son relationship and how, mild spoilers, repentance, both Hades and Zagreus had to come after all of this, and the resolution of it, as well as the accessibility with the romance and just how the romance is played out in this.
Sure.
It did something really, really fun, and maybe again it was just because of how difficult the narrative of Last of Us 2 was compared to the kind of joyful
Sure.
aspect of Hades. I gave it to Hades for that.
What I will say is that Hades did a good job of wanting you to come back and keep playing. Not like you could be a master of the game and guaranteed beat it every time because you just got it down. but you still want to know what happens next.
Yes.
So you keep playing because of the narrative, and that's a good sign right there.
When I fully complete the narrative, like with all the characters and things like that, I will probably stop playing Hades. To me, it's not like Slay the Spire, where the game itself is good enough for me to play constantly.
Sure.
But the narrative is worth it me playing constantly.
There you go.
It really is.
Best game direction: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, The Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2 wins this for me.
Game direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. I'm actually going opposite. I'm going Hades with you.
Really?
Yes. Last of Us Part 2 was an incredibly well-written, well-crafted game. But I think being able to take a genre as well-trodden, especially in the last decade of roguelikes, and do so many good things with it, where it wasn't even just, here's a really good roguelike, it was, here's a really great game that also is a roguelike. I think that is good direction. Where everything, to me,
that's fair.
On a movie set, you have there's somebody who's in charge of everything, or somebody who's in charge of every single different like department. You have your camera operator, you have your grips, you have all these things, you have your whatever. Yeah, then you have your director who takes all of these things and makes them into a hopefully great product. Like the sum of everything that went into it. And I think Hades accomplished that incredibly well.
I went with Last of Us Part 2 because of just how beautiful a lot of the cinematography was, and how they took this narrative and they just carried it along on this path that your heart ached as you took every step with it. Like, it brought you on this journey, and it was not just the narrative, it was not just the gameplay. It brought everything together in this perfect way to create the experience that you had with it.
Yeah. No, extremely good. Yes. Don't blame me at all. I understand.
Yep. All right.
Game of the Year.
Game of the Year.
GOTY. Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing.
Get off of there, Animal Crossing. You don't belong.
Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, one of these things is not like the other.
I will say, we talked about some of the most important games ever created a while back on a podcast, and Animal Crossing was the reason we talked about it, because of its importance in 2020 and its ability to bring people together.
Yes.
I do think
it deserves
hard.
I think it deserves to be nominated for Game of the Year.
You do?
I do. But I am looking at this, and it's just like, all right, Doom Eternal, he's got a gun and a sword. Final Fantasy VII, he's got a gun, he's got a sword. Ghost of Tsushima, he's got a sword on his back and some knives. Hades, he's holding a big sword. Last of Us Part 2, she's got a shotgun. Animal Crossing New Horizon, she's got a little saw cutting some wood.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, he's got a guy with a fishing hook.
Let's get all the protagonists together for a fight.
Yeah,
and Animal Crossing,
sure.
the villagers like, ah!
Unless you're Tom Nook, then he'll just put them all into debt.
Yes,
and ruin their future and their families. Game of the Year for me is a very easy choice, Last of Us Part 2.
I agree. Last of Us Part 2.
All of these games I do think deserve a nomination to a certain extent. To me, the one that's like, ooh, maybe not, is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, really? I would have gone with Doom Eternal.
I hate narrative. I hate its narrative. I hate its story.
I hope you recognize you are in like the vast minority of that.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
I understand.
But for you personally,
we talked about this. Personally, I feel like the story was so dumb.
Yeah.
Not the entirety, just the overarching narrative I thought was dumb and confusing and poorly told.
For me,
but
Animal
the combat
Crossing
was really great. So
Animal Crossing is the one that I'm like, why are you there? Because for me, I understand what it did, but it was like a firework where it exploded, and it was beautiful, and it lasted 8 seconds, and then after that, it became monotonous and frustrating.
I played a lot more of Animal Crossing individually, like single player, than you did.
Yes,
and so I got to the point where I was able to craft my whole island and terraform everything and recreate a world I wanted to. I don't think you ever got to that point.
No, not even
so
close.
You didn't really. I don't think you had the the full experience
because my kids got on my island.
Yes,
and it literally ruined the game.
You could not have
me.
your own. Yes, I understand. The game was designed to not be able to be played by more than one person, and that's a ridiculous thing. So yeah, I understand. But okay, coming from Des and Fox, Last of Us Part 2 is the game of the year. Great job, Naughty Dog.
Genuinely, I don't think there's competition. Of all these games, I think they all deserve a lot of like praise and respect.
They all do incredibly
phenomenal
good job in certain ways.
Last of Us Part 2 is on another level of art.
Yes,
it really is.
I think it is a stalwart of I mean, we're past as a community the whole is it art or not thing. Nobody cares anymore.
No.
That was a dumb thing that it didn't matter. But Last of Us Part 2, I think, has just it is one of those games that I will remember playing forever.
Forever, yes.
I also loved how good of a sequel it was.
Yes.
I think it was I think it deserves Part 2, not Last of Us 2, because I cannot it is just the second part of an overarching narrative far more than a lot of games are. Right. It's just the next one in the series. So I really appreciated it. Kind of fulfilled what they started in the first one. I think, excellent.
Man, to me, it's the new Count of Monte Cristo for me.
Oh.
It really is. Just in this whole idea of it's a story of vengeance.
Yeah.
And how vengeance doesn't work the way you want it to.
Sure.
And Count of Monte Cristo is known however many years later as this incredible piece of art for that. And I think this should also be that where, 100 years from now, I hope people are still talking about this as that story
Take
of
that,
vengeance.
Alexander Dumas. Write a shorter book and maybe you'll like it more.
Just watch the movie. Jim Caviezel's great in it. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
just watch. It's fine. It's the same thing.
Just watch V for Vendetta where they watch a scene. You'll get the idea.
It's the same.
Fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Well, guys, those are our picks for Game of the Year, or the Game of the Year awards.
Game Awards. There you go.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what nominees you have as your picks. Let us know what you think about our picks. Thank you all for listening. I want to say big thanks to Granger for the use of our theme song, All My Friends Have Wi-Fi. Some of my neighbors do too, off the album Dear Sam. It is a top-notch track on a top-notch album.
It's about a deer named Sam.
No.
It's not.
It's about a Sam named Deer.
That doesn't make any sense. Hey, go check out our YouTube channel if you're not listening / watching this on there. We've got a lot of videos, and that's a good place for them.
Yep.
Now we play a lot of Let's Play. Got a lot of games up there right now. My playthrough of Assassin's Creed Odyssey is coming to an end pretty soon here, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be coming up after that. And then also my Miles Morales playthrough started today, if you're on the day this drops. And then your playthrough of Bugsnax, I think, will be at some point soon.
Starting up. Yep.
Where our playthrough of Sackboy is going up.
Which is delightful.
It is a delightful,
Gosh,
fun
collectathon.
My playthrough of Stardew Valley is going on. We're in the spring right now. Almost this week we'll be starting the winter or the fall actually.
Oh.
So yeah, that's going. We got a lot of stuff going on.
We got a lot of stuff.
So go check it out. There's something there for you.
Thanks again, guys, and always remember that saved games save lives.
See you next week.
My voice sings loud.